Here are 20 more interesting facts about North Dakota you may not know. North Dakota produces more electricity between its coal plants and wind turbines than it consumes, sending excess to neighboring states. In 1892, as a party delegate, Linda Slaughter was the first woman to vote for a presidential candidate at a national convention. Slaughter was one of the first residents in what became Bismarck, moving there with her family in August 1872. She was one of Bismarck's most influential pioneers, who was a school superintendent, postmistress, journalist, lawyer, and women's rights activist. North Dakota is infamous for its harsh winters, but is lesser known for its hot summers, where it's common to top the century mark for at least a few days each year. All of its most populated cities have recorded high temperatures exceeding 100 degrees every month between May and September. North Dakota's record all-time high temperature is tied for 5th place of all state records, 1 degree behind New Mexico's all-time high temperature. That's looking at the state in its entirety. The southern side of North Dakota generally has warmer temperatures than the northern side. Picking 2 cities as an example, Bowman's mean July temperature is 97.9 degrees, compared to only 91.5 degrees in Grand Forks. Both the hottest and coldest recorded temperatures in North Dakota were observed during the same year, 1936, dipping to negative 60 degrees Fahrenheit in February, then topping 121 degrees that same July. Talk about extremes. North Dakota ranks 4th in temperature differential between the all-time highest and lowest recorded temperatures. A relic of the socialist movement of the early 20th century, North Dakota, today one of the most conservative states, has the only state-owned bank in the country. The Bank of North Dakota formed in 1919. North Dakota also has a state-owned mill formed by the same political movement to combat influential big business, as is the fact that corporate-owned farms are banned in North Dakota. You will find only one national chain pharmacy operating in the state of North Dakota, CVS. That's because a 1963 law forced all pharmacies to be majority-owned by registered pharmacists. CVS is allowed to operate 6 stores in North Dakota because it acquired Osco Drug, who was grandfathered because it already had 6 locations in the state when the law passed. CVS can relocate its stores, but not add to its complement. While a Walgreens location does exist in Fargo, it does not contain a pharmacy. The word Dakota comes from the Sioux word meaning friend or ally. Most know the Dakota as a Native American tribe. It is a subculture of the larger Sioux Nation. Since being dedicated in 1960, Jamestown has been home to the world's largest standing buffalo, standing 26 feet tall and weighing 60 tons. Jamestown is also home to a rare albino buffalo. Further west is Salem Sioux, a large Holstein cow in the town of Salem that stands 38 feet tall, built in 1974. There's also a large turtle made of 2,000 tire rims near Dunseith, built in 1982, a large walleye in Garrison, a large catfish in Wahpeton, and the world's tallest sandhill crane, Sandy, in steel, a newer addition, put up in 1999, near what was then the Lone Steer Motel. Let's not forget about the various statues along the Enchanted Highway. It's not just big animals North Dakota is famous for. The state record for the world's largest hamburger was achieved in 1982 in Rutland. It weighed 3,591 pounds and was cooked on a specially made griddle. North Dakota holds another record, that of the most snow angels made at the same time, with almost 9,000 participants on the Capitol grounds in 2007. It was the second time North Dakota set the same record, after Michigan briefly bested the first attempt. North Dakota is officially known as the Peace Garden State, named for the International Peace Garden, shared with Canada at the border, which was formed in 1932 as a pledge between the two countries to never go to war with each other. It's been featured on state license plates since 1956. Be sure to bring proper documentation, as you will be crossing the international border to visit. North Dakota is also known as the Rough Rider State, named for President Theodore Roosevelt's cavalry troops that served during the Spanish-American War. Roosevelt once owned a ranch in North Dakota's Badlands. Another nickname for North Dakota is the Flickertail State, referring to its abundance of ground squirrels. You'll also see a lot of references to Gateway, referencing a gateway to the West model. North Dakota and South Dakota were split because of vast differences between lifestyle, culture, and political beliefs at the time. While these differences always existed, relocating the capital from Yankton in the southern half of Dakota Territory to Bismarck in the northern half in 1883 accelerated the conflict between these two halves. There was a lot of resentment for the capital being located in the northern half, then considered desolate and uncultured. There were several attempts to split the territory going back as early as 1872, before the territorial legislature successfully voted to divide in 1887. The formerly combined territory entered statehood together in 1889. Allegedly, the statehood order was determined by President Harrison shuffling the papers, although it is rather convenient that they entered order alphabetically. North Dakota could have been known as Pembina or Ojibwe, which were proposed names for the northern half when a bill was introduced in 1872 to split Dakota Territory. J. Ross Moore of North Dakota designed the first drum-type clothes dryer in 1938, which was also the first electric clothes dryer. When working for General Electric's Hot Point division, George Hughes invented the electric stove. His father and brother were electric pioneers in North Dakota, owning Hughes Electric from the 1890s until selling in 1928. While the skid steer loader was invented in Rothsay, Minnesota, the rights were sold 1 year later to Melrow Manufacturing in Gwinner, North Dakota, who further developed the invention into the Bobcat skid steer and distributed it globally. North Dakota was the first state to complete its portion of the interstate highway system. The first section of I-94 was completed between Jamestown and Valley City in 1958, 2 years after commencing. At its dedication, it was deemed America's longest section of interstate highway. Completed in sections, I-94 was fully completed through North Dakota in 1970, when the westernmost stretch was completed into Montana. I-94 mostly matched the route of U.S. Highway 10, one exception being in Bismarck, where it was constructed 2 miles north to bypass its congested downtown. I-29 was fully completed in 1977. There are fundamental differences between the east and west sides of North Dakota, defining their character and culture. The flat grassland that most people identify with North Dakota is most predominant to the east. The Red River Valley was once the bed of an ancient lake some 10,000 years ago. The further west you get in North Dakota, the warmer and drier the climate, and the rougher the terrain. The soil composition also contains more sand, gravel, and silt on the west side compared to the clay-rich soil on the east, which is better for retaining moisture. As a result, livestock ranching is more common on the west and crop farming on the east. The political makeup is also different, with the east being more liberal than the west. We can see this in voting statistics. While President Trump won all but 2 counties in North Dakota in the 2024 election, his lead shrinks the further east you get. In Cass County, where Fargo is located, on the far east, Trump accounted for 53% of the presidential votes. Grand Forks County was 58%. The central part of the state, including Stutsman and Burleigh counties, was about 71%, and western counties, like Stark and Golden Valley, were in the mid-80s. The only 2 counties voting in favor of Harris were located on Native American reservations. MDU Resources Group, a major utility provider, is the only Fortune 500 company headquartered in North Dakota. It has been headquartered in Bismarck since 1968. North Dakota has one national park, Theodore Roosevelt National Park, where North Dakota's Badlands are located. The tourist town of Medora is located just south, which will become home to the Theodore Roosevelt Presidential Library in 2026. The famed Lewis and Clark expedition visited 11 present-day states in their exploration of the Louisiana Purchase, but spent more time in North Dakota than any of the others, camping a winter near present-day Washburn. It was in North Dakota that they were introduced to Sakakawea, known outside of North Dakota as Sacagawea, their Shoshone guide. They encountered their first grizzly bear while in North Dakota, today a rare sight. The first European settlers to the region were mostly fur traders. Located near present-day Williston along the Missouri River, Fort Union was an important trading post between 1828 and 1867. The post traded about 25,000 buffalo robes and $100,000 worth of merchandise annually at its peak. It is now a state historic site. The Missouri River made for a great shipping highway of the goods. Check out my other fact videos and be sure to like and subscribe to support future content.